Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avataravarishthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Master, seriously, please don't say such a thing. People worship God according to their tastes and temperaments. The reference is a devotee says, who has studied Vedanta, the eternal word itself is Brahman. And Sri Ramakrishna immediately understands where is he, what is his path. Before that is the word is not enough. The devotee says, Brahman, eternal word itself, Omkara is the eternal word, and eternal word itself is Brahman. Thakur says, no, Omkara is an indicator of a thing, and the vastu has to be caught. The essence, what is indicating, Omkara, what it is indicating, has to be caught. Then immediately he says, no, word and the vastu are same. That eternal word itself is Brahman. Brahman cannot be conceived or perceived or understood. So it is something there is existence, Sat, Chit, Ananda. It exists and it is conscious, and it is ocean of bliss and bliss alone. To indicate the words are not the qualities of Brahman, but an indicator to the Brahman. Omkara, what we chant, or Omkara, what we utter, is also indicator of Brahman, because it is beyond conception, beyond perception with our senses and our mind or intellect. So this Sri Ramakrishna says there is a vastu which have to be attained. Then, but Sri Ramakrishna is telling, but the word is not enough. There must be something indicated by the word. That word, what is indicated, we have to catch. The devotee says the eternal word itself is Brahman. For that Sri Ramakrishna is telling, oh, don't you understand? He upholds to Kedar. Devotee is telling to Kedar, he says, oh, don't you understand? He upholds the doctrine of rishis of the olden time. They once said to Rama, O Rama, we know you only as son of Dasharatha. Let the sages like Bharatwaj worship you as God incarnate. We want to realize the Brahman, the indivisible, Satchidananda. At these words, Rama smiled and went away. This is the context. And immediately, Kedar immediately hears this and says, those rishis could not recognize Rama as an incarnation of God. They must have been fools. To this word, Sri Ramakrishna, the rishis of olden times, they could not recognize Rama as an incarnation of God. Of course, only Sri Ramakrishna says only 12 rishis knew that he was an incarnation of God, and for others he was a matchless person there is no upama, nirupama equal to him. He is supreme, greatest among the humans. But acceptance of him as God is little difficult. So the to when Kedar says they must have been fools, Sri Ramakrishna seriously says, please don't say such a thing. People worship according to their tastes and temperaments. The mother cooks the same fish differently for different children, according to their needs, according to their state of stomach. They can how much what can they can digest. So here we see God has made arrangements for every soul to reach the ultimate goal of human life. We may take many lives, but each has his own path. What is his spiritual status? What is his understanding? In what way he is looking at the divine? All that will determine now where is his state? Is he still in the enjoyments of the world, unaware of the God's existence? Or has he come to the awareness of God existence? Or has he already begun the sadhana to transcend the nature and go beyond? All these factors, according to each one need, God has made arrangements for all those. And they have to, just like a school, there is a provision for first standard, second standard, graduation, all classes according to their needs, according to their stage of evolution, educational evolution. The classes are there like that. We can't say any child to be a fool. He is on the process of development. Rishis followed the path of jnana. Therefore, they sought to realize Brahman, the indivisible existence, knowledge, bliss absolute. But those who follow the path of devotion seek an incarnation of God to enjoy the sweetness of bhakti. The darkness of mind disappears when God is realized. In Puranas it is said that it was as if 100 suns were shining when Rama entered the court. They then were not. Why then were not the courtiers burnt up? It was because brilliance of Rama was not that of the material object. It was not light of fire. As the lotus blooms when the sun rises, the lotus of the heart of the people assembled in the court blossomed. Here Sri Ramakrishna is bringing the difference between the Jnana Patha and Bhakti Patha. Bhakta wants to enjoy the bliss of God. The Jnani wants to transcend the nature and reach the absolute and dissolve in the absolute. Their individual existence wants to be one with the absolute existence. Here he wants to retain the separation and enjoy the sweetness of God. God is bliss absolute. I want to enjoy that bliss, Ananda. I want to experience that Ananda of God. I want to be Ananda is Jnanapatha. I want to experience the Ananda is Bhaktipatha. The master uttered these words. As the master uttered these words, standing before the devotees, he suddenly fell into ecstatic mood. His mind was withdrawn from the external objects. No sooner did he say, the lotus of the heart burst into blossom, than he went into deep samadhi. He stood motionless, his countenance beaming and his lips parted in a smile. So, as he is bringing out the truth, he is experiencing the truth. With experience, he is expressing through words. And when he experiences, the words stop, and then he enters into the inner world of experience alone. This is Samadhi Sthiti. We don't see, usually, even whole of our lives, we may not see a person entering into Samadhi like Sri Ramakrishna. After perhaps Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many were there in ecstatic state of love. They used to reel. But this kind of continuous now and then, muhur, experiencing Samadhi, demonstrating Samadhi is there in Sri Ramakrishna alone. And after a long gap after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to lose his external consciousness now and then in thought of God, like this Sri Ramakrishna, entering into higher levels of consciousness, and which we call Samadhi. After a long time, he returned to the normal consciousness of the world. He drew long breath and repeatedly chanted the name of Rama, every word showering the nectar into the hearts of the devotees. Master sat down, the others seating themselves on the ground around him. We see Sri Ramakrishna entering now and then into Samadhi, and slowly coming down, he is uttering the Ramanama. He went with the Rama's thought, and he must have experienced the Rama's presence. We must again and again remember, when we enter into any aspect, any part of the Leela of God, be it Durga Saptashati experiences or the Rama's Ramayana or Mahabharata of Krishna's life or Rama's life, the Leela they leave behind, the Avatara leave behind, is always in eternal present, not in the past or future. It is not an imaginary thing which is happening all the time. It is there, alive and eternal present. You can enter and it passes through you. It starts again passing through with you. Suppose a function was there, I saw everything happened, and I want to see again, I cannot see it. It has entered into the past. And I can see maximum with the modern instruments, a video or something. But it is not the actually happening. What happened, I am recollecting by seeing an image of it. But when you enter into the Leela of God, in any of its aspect, in any place, you want to enter into Yuddha Bhumi of killing Ravana or Kamsa, you can see entering that place and you see actually happening, because it is eternally present. The moment you enter into it, you see it is happening. The same time, same way of happening, same external nature. So Vrindavan, what was the Vrindavan in those days of when Krishna was born? The same Vrindavan, with the same people, it continues. They are all Leela Sacharas. Many realize God and go in the whole play going on. Many remain, many join, but the Leela goes on and on. So here, when Sri Ramakrishna is entering into Samadhi and experiencing Rama, it is one of the part of Rama, one of the aspects of Rama. Maybe when Rama, after the war and all, then when he comes back, Pattabhisheka, after that, how they are sitting, all brothers together, that it can be that scene. It can be any scene when he is walking in the forest. Some scene which is associated, and coming down, he is uttering that Rama, Rama, Rama. But exactly what he saw, he alone knows. But we can understand while going into Samadhi was Rama, while coming down was Rama. So he must have seen the Rama, experienced directly. Master to the devotees. Ordinary people do not recognize the advent of the incarnation of God. Ordinary people do not recognize the advent of an incarnation of God. He comes in secret. Only a few of his intimate disciples can recognize him. That Rama was both Brahman absolute and a perfect incarnation of God in human form was known only to 12 rishis. The other sages said to him, Rama, we know you only as Dasharatha's son. So when God incarnates, he doesn't reveal himself. He doesn't demonstrate. He did not show anybody. It is kept as if a secret because we don't have eyes to see the Leela. We are not developed. A few who have realized the truth, enlightened soul, could immediately identify, understand. When, like Sri Ramakrishna, when he was in Dakshineshwar, many came, a few recognized him, like Bhairavi Brahmani. They could immediately recognize, oh, this is the Lord who has come down to the earth. And their version, they are enlightened, and their version is absolutely true. Because they know what God is, and they can recognize. Suppose I have seen a person, I can recognize him again. Oh, that person whom I saw there, he is here now. So that identification, the sages, a few sages could identify Ramakrishna. Similarly, a few sages could recognize Krishna and Rama also. Their authority is what makes us know and understand that God incarnates, and slowly with faith we walk to reach that state of experiencing God. The other sages said, Rama, we know you only as Dasharatha's son. Can everyone comprehend Brahman, the indivisible existence, knowledge, bliss absolute? He alone has attained perfect love of God, who, having reached the absolute, keeps himself in a realm of the relative in order to enjoy the divine Leela. See, after experiencing the God impersonal, then he comes down to remain experiencing the God with form. Ordinary people do not recognize the advent of an incarnation of God. He comes in secret. Only a few intimate disciples can recognize him. Can everyone comprehend Brahman, the indivisible existence, knowledge, bliss absolute? He alone has attained perfect love of God, who, having reached the absolute, keeps himself in the realm of the relative in order to enjoy the divine experience, divine Leela. Now you see, I go to the impersonal absolute and look at, then I see God has become this avatara. Otherwise, I believe I experience according to my own, in Savikalpa, I get the vision of God. He reveals himself with the form. Yet, I will not know the God has incarnated. I get the form, Rupa. I get the qualities, most loving in the form. Here it is limited God is unlimited. The unlimited itself has become limited. I know God, I have seen God, but I don't know that the absolute has become. Just like the inward journey takes us to the Atma Jnana. Subjective ultimate is Atman. Similarly, I transit the nature one by one and reach the beyond nature externally. Objective ultimate is Brahman. Objective ultimate, I like Advaitins, merging the Prithvi Tattva into Jala Tattva, Jala Tattva into Agni Tattva, Agni Tattva into Vayu Tattva, Vayu Tattva into Akasha Tattva, Akasha Tattva into the Absolute. I go the objective way of reaching the Absolute. Now I get the Brahma Jnana. What is the Absolute Brahman? I go inward. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. I cross inward journey and reach my own real self, the Atman. The Atman and Brahman are one. I will not know. What I have experienced, the infinite bliss absolute, the same I am experiencing, but I don't know the Atman and Brahman are one. When Guru makes me understand by, oh, you went from the front door, what you saw was the same sky, from the back door you went and saw the same sky. So because the route was different and the ends were looking different, I went objective ultimate, subjective ultimate, and they are one. I did not know. Guru removes that small doubt. Shankaracharya's life also you can see that Shiva in Kashi appearing as Chandala and making who touched whom. Then the last vestige, he is the realized soul, he is an enlightened soul. Even if he had not known, he has no bondage, he is absolutely free. But that small doubt, that difference still existing, God wants to remove. Then if they know, just like that, Avatara, I have experienced the form of God. I have known what is the absolute Nirguna Nirakara, Saguna Saka. The same has manifested. I know when it is revealed to me. He alone has attained perfect love of God. He alone has attained perfect love of God, who having reached the absolute keeps influencing the relative in order to experience the perfect love of God. Perfect love of God is where I totally dissolve in the object. I love Rama, I dissolve in Rama to become Rama, and Rama alone exists. That is where the perfect love has attained its perfection by identifying the object of love. The lover and the loved becoming one in love is the ultimate, and that can be experienced. The Triputi, the lover and loved and the love, dissolve in one reality. That experience of the Lord being myself and myself being Lord, I have dissolved in, like sugar dissolved in water. When in love of God, I dissolve myself in God. That is the absolute perfected state of divine love. The duality dissolves into one reality. After experiencing that one reality, one attains the perfect love of God. A man can describe the ways and activities of the Queen Victoria, if he has previously visited her in England. Only then will his description of the Queen will be correct. Now, those were the days when the Britishers were ruling, Queen Victoria. And the person, even now, any place, for example, our own ashrama, you must deeply study the ashrama without visiting through the various CDs and all that. Audiovisual means you can study, but when you go and see there, it's entirely different. You have practically seen through a video. Through video, you are going to see it actually, but when you go and see there, it's entirely different. You cannot compare. That much of vast understanding. Once you go and come, once you visit and come, your understanding is entirely different. You have seen, and your explanation will be absolutely correct. Even very often I say, suppose you are done, this house is here now, and you do study deeply, whole taking into theory, video sets and all that, every bit you draw, you take the pictures and study everything. And after whole thing, knowing everything, like thesis you have written and everything is, any part you can see, any part you can know how it is, that house. But suppose somebody asks, as soon as you enter, what is to your right? He has to think a lot as soon as he enters house. But once he has visited, once, just once, anybody asks, what is there as soon as you enter to your right? Immediately, my own house, suppose. Immediately you will tell. What is there? Which corner, what is there? It is exactly correct, 100% correct. Sages like Bharatwaja adored Rama and said, Rama, you are nothing but the indivisible Sachidananda. You have appeared before us as human being, but you look like a man because you have shrouded yourself with your own Maya. These rishis were great devotees of Rama and had supreme love for God. They have seen Brahman. They have experienced their enlightened soul who intimately are one with the absolute existence. They are free from all bonds of the nature. They have transcended the nature and has gone beyond and seen that absolute has descended to the earth as the Rama. The sages like Bharatwaja adored Rama and said, O Rama, you are nothing but indivisible Sachidananda. You have shrouded yourself with Maya. You have covered yourself with Maya. Nobody can understand. But these people can recognize and identify because they have seen the absolute also and can immediately identify the relative or the God in the relative existence. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.